with those plasma currents. They can't override that. But they can't exactly just blast the whole place through with the crystal currents from the meiotic level, because it would just vaporize everything and send it all back home really fast. So that's not the plan either. So there's so much that can be brought into the matrix at increments and that kind of thing, and that has to be balanced with the overload of frequency that the Metatronics are bringing in, because they're just forcing energy into this matrix from, you know, the plasma that they're stealing from the core plasmas, and it's going to overload. It's going to heat the planetary core is what it's going to do. It's also going to heat the solar core with all these frequencies flying. So there will be effects that, you know, have very long-term effects on this. But our sun is, you know, we've known this for quite a while now, that the sun is going into its Bardo phase or its death phase anyway, because of the compromise of the gate systems within it, and because it does have a black hole at its center because of the Metatronic mass. So it's like, whatever. So the core is going to heat now too, of the sun and of our planet. We'll probably at some point start to see more noticeable results. We've been getting kind of like, in the last even like 10, even 20 years, it's like, it used to be, oh wow, an 8-point something earthquake. Oh wow, there's a big earthquake. That was kind of like, well, there's another 8-point something. Yeah, whatever. And you kind of like, you know, just hear it on the news and ignore it unless you happen to live in the place where it happened. That kind of thing. You know, the changes are happening in our planet and in our, you know, from our weather systems. Oh, they can blame it on fluorocarbons, they can blame it on whatever they want. But it has to do with the Templar War this planet it has been under. There are things that, yes, are heating. There are things that are happening in the atmosphere that shouldn't be, and all of that. And that's all a part of this hidden war that has been taking place over the planetary Stargate system. So at this point, we are on an evac planet in an evac solar system. It's not as if we can go, well, we'll just hop over to Mars. Good luck with that. Our sun is going to burn out. You know, and it's not going to be like immediately. It's not going to be in 2047. There's a number of 100 years after that, but it will begin to kick up, and there'll be more flaring, and there'll be a point where the Earth's surface is not habitable because of the amount of radiation that is, you know, being beamed in from the sun. So this solar system is moving in to its number of hundred of years death throes, where it is going to make transition into a system that no longer supports biological life. So the biological life here is being moved. And what do you think? That people say, oh yeah, sure, right. Now imagine if you were somebody up there realizing you had to go evacuate this planet, and it was kind of primitive, and how do you explain to the caveman that you need to leave, right? Right. And it depends on, you know, how receptive to learning your cavemen are, of whether you're going to have much luck with that, because they may just try to behead you if you come near them, that kind of thing. Well, I think the beloveds sometimes feel like that with humanity here, but they don't really try to behead us. You know, they give you death threats sometimes. But pretty much they just ignore you or laugh at you and say, yeah, right. But if you were, you know, like the head of a team or something that realized that planet and that sun are not going to sustain life within this amount of time, those races are totally clueless, and we would like to help them, you know, first of all, bioregenerate, so you can maybe have a conversation, and they won't kill you, you know, or tame the violence streak and stuff, but where you can help them to help themselves and get them off the planet so the race can continue. And right now, the beloveds are doing their best to communicate that to us. I might sound like some, you know, wacky person, and people pick on me all the time. Oh, you're just nutcase, yeah, right. Well, I'm sorry, a nutcase usually can't understand those, right? I certainly didn't invent them. I'm not that smart. You know, the maps and how all of that fits together and all the things we've taught. So we are in an evac system. Do people out there, the ego sleepers, they call them, they're the ones that, I mean, everybody was a sleeper at some point and we started to wake up. But the ego sleepers are the ones that they don't care what might be real. They like it their way, and that's the way it's going to stay. And they don't want to know anything about anything else. So they don't want to wake up. And the ego sleepers, when you try to say something about this to them, what are they going to do? What do they think? 2 days before the sun's going to, like, you know, belch its final, you know, fire at the earth, all of a sudden, like, you know, some holy beings are going to appear from the sky and say, take my hand, come with me. Or maybe everybody's going to rapture and float up in the sky and God's going to save you. I don't know. Or maybe they just know it's coming and they figure they're just going to party until it does. I mean, what do they expect? we're not wacky talking about this. There are several hundred years we have to get this race where it can there can be survivors, there can be places that relocation and bioregenesis of the gene code can take place. So that's really what we're doing here with all of the things that we're teaching. So anyway.